Are you relying on willpower and you're just not finding it's working? You keep doing something, you're sabotaging yourself, whether it's like weight loss, whether it's relationships, whether it's money, and it's getting really frustrating for you. Well, I've totally been there, and today we're going to talk about why willpower does not work and what you can do instead. So, thank you for joining me today. I've seen this mistake many, many times from others and from myself. I'm not going to sit here and say I'm an angel in this because this is what I'm learning from my experience. Willpower does not work. It's very limited. It's maybe okay for a certain period. So say you're on a diet and you put all the systems in place, and then you've got like 1 hour in a place and they've got all these treats out and you're like, all right, I'm not having any sugar this week. Maybe willpower is going to work for like that hour if you say, I'm not going to have anything. If you had, like, if you were surrounded by sugary sweets and treats in your home every single day and you didn't have any other systems in place, you would cave in. I'm sorry, but you would cave in, right? Because like willpower does not work. It's not designed, like what's the word I'm looking for? Limited, right? I don't know why I struggle with that one. And I'll give you another example from my own life. I'm going to give you some tips on what you can do about it today, of course. I quit alcohol for months, right? I think it was 6 months, right? I remember this. And what happened after I quit it. So basically my system in place was like to be accountable to a load of people telling them I wasn't going to have it. And I think I had to give like a punishment, like fine, and I'd get a reward for all the times I stopped. And guess what? That system worked and I quit for 6 months. After 6 months, do you know what I did? I just went, okay, I've done now and I'll kind of just see how it goes. I might have a little bit. And I had no systems in place. Do you know what? I went out a few weeks later and got drunk. Very, very drunk, right? And that's because I had absolutely no system in place. Right. So the question then becomes like, how long do I need a system in place of things? The rest of your life for certain things, right? That's why. Okay. That's why it's really, really important for things like AA and other different like societies can really, really benefit people. People who like do Alcohol Anonymous, like they do it for years, right? And I'm not going to go down the route of if it's the right thing to do or not, but like people have like communities for like years and years and years, right? To support them with things like sponsors, all sorts, because we need a system ongoing sometimes. You need a system for keeping healthy, right? It's not like, it's when we don't have a system I've really, really learned. Now, just before I dive in a bit more, if you're like a man or you know a man and you really feel like you're a bit stuck with what's the right system for me, how do I move forward? And you're like, I don't know what to do. Well, I've got an opportunity for 3 guys to work one-on-one with me. Now, it's very limited and I'm going to ask you a bunch of questions to see if you're a right fit. Of course, right? I don't work with just anyone. You've got to be really, really committed. But if you're a man who's really committed to working in his personal and or professional life, just message me the word growth on any of my social medias, Jonny Pardoe on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and I'll leave them in the show notes below as well. Just message me the word growth and we can see if you're a right fit. Okay, just going back to what I was saying about systems, you need a system for your life. Like, it ain't going to work, right? It ain't going to work. Not a system. A bad system's not going to work, of course, but willpower alone is not a system. It's like why so many people quit the gym. It's like they get this, like in January, it's like, okay, I'm going to go to the gym and keep healthy. And then it's like, okay, so what is your system? Oh, I'm just going to go. And then suddenly the brain gets in, oh, I could treat myself to some sugary stuff. Oh, it's all right to miss the gym. And it's like the system is not in place in that certain case, right? So you need it for life. How is it helping you by relying on willpower? Has it ever worked long term? Probably not, right? So let's dive into some tips for you now. So the first one is always come back to what do you want, right? The reason you want to quit something, maybe it's like alcohol, maybe it's sugar, Maybe it's like you want to reduce social media addiction, definitely been there, right? All of those things, by the way, or something else, right? Um, Looking at what needs to go, be clear on that, but and don't do too many things at once, but it's like, what's the outcome? What outcome is that going to give you? Well, you want more energy. You want to feel good mentally. You want to feel clarity. Well, that's what you want. So get very clear on that. The second point is, what system can I put in place? What is a system I can put in place? People, reward, forfeit. What can I move around to make my environment suit me? So, for example, if you're trying to give up bad food, don't have bad food in your home, if possible, right? You can tell people being you being accountable to people is really, really good. And then saying like, right, if I do this wrong, I'm going to pay you 100, 200, 500 pounds. That's a real incentive, right? I remember once telling someone, right, okay, if you don't do this, you have to give up coffee for a day. They're like, I don't want to do that. It's like, well, how committed are you? Right. So to actually giving this thing up, and it has to be something that's going to be tough on you, tougher. So therefore you go, oh no, I'm not going to do that. I do that with my accountability partner all the time. I'm like, right, well, if I do this wrong habit, I'm going to have to pay you. And I've never had to pay him because I stick to it because I don't really want to give him the money. I'd love to give him money for another reason because he's a good guy. Just donate to him, but like not from making a mistake for me. Okay, I've got a couple more points as well for you. Just want to mention again, though, that if you're a man and you're looking to really go further faster in your life, you're like, all right, I'm trying to put together the pieces, but I'm not quite sure. I need a system. I need some guidance. I need someone to walk me through. Well, all you got to do is message me the word growth on social media, jonnycpardoe on any of my social media, and we'll see if you are potentially a right fit for my limited time one-to-one to coach with me. Yeah, just message me the word growth before the opportunity ends, and I'll personally message you to chat. So, psychological work is the next point I want to say. So, right, put a system in place to stop you doing the bad habits, but you also need to do the psychological work. So, for example, if you're like addicted to something, and there's lots of addictions in life, it doesn't just mean drugs and alcohol, but it can mean like social media, it can be like negative things, then whilst you're giving that up, you're going to need to think about doing the deeper work. You need to connect with yourself. Often it's because we've not got a regulated nerve system. We're all over the place. So we're looking for a quick fix. So making sure you can deal with that as well. So whether that's breath work, meditation, again, this is something I'll walk people through in like my one-to-one, and then my future community that's coming out as well, by the way. I really walk people through that. So make sure you're doing the psychological work as well. The fourth thing is, what can you replace it with? If you've got like a habit, like eating food because you're hungry, what good food can you eat? If you're like getting a dopamine hit off too much social media, what can you get a dopamine hit off elsewhere, right? Like if you feel good in an absolute bliss and amazing state when you have alcohol, how can you find that elsewhere? And it might take a little bit of experimenting. So you need something to replace these things with. And then the fifth point, again, just emphasizing willpower doesn't work. So use the system. Just remember that one as well. Okay, so that's what I got for you today. Just to recap as well, why willpower doesn't work. It's like, it's very, very limited. So you need a system in place. A system outweighs intelligence. Think about it like this way. Like if you work in a job, or if you worked in a job, like you have a certain system, you're held accountable. You have to go to work to get paid. So people don't always like going to work, but they go to work because they know they have to go, and they have to go to get paid. And then it's like people start their own business on the side and they give up, right? Because they don't have something to keep them accountable. And they're like, oh, it's getting tough, and I don't feel like it today, I'm going to not do it. But with work, you don't always feel like it, and you have to go anyway because you've got a system, you've got accountability, you know you have to go, right? So set yourself up to win. So the first thing is knowing your outcome, where you want to go. The second thing, what system can you put in place? The third thing, making sure you're doing the psychological work. Number 4, what can you replace it with? And then number 5, just remind yourself that willpower doesn't work, right? So put a system in place. So that's what I got for you today. I appreciate you for being here, and remember to lead with your heart and not with fear.